They say a mother's heart can sense a storm before the clouds appear. I felt it that morning, a strange stillness in the air. My son, Daniel, called the night before. His voice was bright, almost too bright. "I have a surprise for you, Mom," he said. I smiled, pretending not to worry. It had been months since we'd last sat together without tension. I thought maybe he was ready to come home, to forgive, to start over. I had no idea that what he'd bring wasn't a gift. It was a burden I never saw coming. He arrived just after noon. His hair was longer, his eyes tired. Emily followed behind him, holding a small paper bag of pastries. I smiled, nervous and hopeful. "Coffee's fresh," I said. The air smelled like cinnamon and old memories. We sat in the living room, the same one he grew up in, walls lined with faded photographs. Daniel looked around, silent for a while. "You kept everything," he finally said. "Of course," I whispered. "Every piece of you still lives here." Emily smiled politely but looked uneasy. She reached for his hand, a silent reminder of something unspoken. Daniel cleared his throat and reached into his jacket. I wanted to give you something," he said, placing an envelope on the table. My heart fluttered. A gift? A letter? Maybe news of a grandchild? His voice trembled. I can't carry it anymore, Mom." I didn't understand. Not yet. But when my fingers touched that envelope, something inside me shifted. The air grew heavy. The coffee turned cold. It was the kind of silence that knows what's coming before your heart can catch up. The number hit me first 6 digits, bold and merciless. 100,000? I whispered. "What is this, Daniel?" He looked away. "It's debt. Mine." I felt the floor tilt beneath me. "Debt? How?" He cut me off. "I took out loans, Mom. Business ideas, failed ones, and now collectors are calling every day." My throat tightened. "And why are you giving this to me?" He sighed, broken. "Because they said if I can't pay, they'll come after you." The house was used as collateral. The words didn't register at first. Then they did, and my chest burned. "You used my name?" His silence was my answer. The room spun. Emily's eyes filled with tears, but she said nothing. She looked ashamed. I wanted to scream. Instead, I just stared at that paper, at the life I'd built, now hanging by a signature I never wrote. He whispered, "I'm sorry." But sorry sounded so small against the weight of $100,000 and a trust I thought could never break. "Daniel, how could you?" My voice cracked between anger and heartbreak. "Everything I've done for you, every sacrifice, and you'd risk our home?" He looked down, ashamed. "I thought I could fix it before you ever found out. I didn't want you to see me fail again." Emily stepped forward. "He tried, Mrs. Adams. He really did." But I couldn't look at her, only him. "You didn't just fail, Daniel. You lied." He tried to reach for me, but I stepped back. "I can't even look at you right now." He nodded slowly, eyes glistening. "I understand." The door closed behind him, and with it, 30 years of motherhood felt suspended, like I was standing in a quiet, broken world that no longer recognized me. The envelope sat on the table like an open wound. I couldn't move it, couldn't look away. Michael came home later, tired from work. "What happened?" he asked gently. I handed him the paper. He stared for a long time, then whispered, "He's drowning, Margaret." "I know," I said, tears finally falling. "But he's taking us with him." That night, I lay awake, listening to the rain tap the windows. Every drop sounded like his voice as a child, laughing, calling me Mom. I remembered how proud I used to be of him. Now I wasn't sure if pride or heartbreak hurt more. In the dark, one truth settled heavy in my chest. Love doesn't disappear, but sometimes it hides, waiting for the pain to quiet down before it dares to show its face again. I walked through the house, touching the walls, the family photos. Every frame told a story: birthdays, graduations, Christmas mornings. He was in all of them. I thought about my own mistakes, the times I'd pushed him too hard, demanded perfection when he only needed patience. Maybe that's where the distance began. Mrs. Clark stopped by that afternoon. She didn't ask questions, just sat with me in silence, holding my hands. "Children don't stop needing their mothers," she said softly, "even when they think they do." I nodded, my throat too tight for words. Sometimes forgiveness isn't spoken out loud. Sometimes it starts in the quiet decision to understand, even when your heart still aches. So I brewed 2 cups of coffee, one for me, one for the day I'd offer him again. "Mom, watch this," he'd say, driving his little car over the rug mountains I built with my hands. He'd laugh when it crashed, then fix it again, never giving up. I remember thinking that's who he is. Determined, hopeful. My little boy who believed everything broken could be mended. Maybe he still is that boy, lost somewhere under the weight of his own mistakes. The memory faded, but the warmth stayed. Sometimes the past doesn't haunt us, it waits patiently for us to remember who we really are. He looked smaller somehow, like the guilt had carved him down. "I'm selling the car," he said, "and I found extra work. I'll pay it back, Mom, I promise." I didn't answer right away. Then I stepped forward and wrapped my arms around him. His body shook against mine. "Just don't disappear again," I whispered. He nodded. "I won't." For the first time in months, I felt air fill my lungs fully. Forgiveness isn't forgetting, it's choosing to see the person, not the mistake. And I finally saw my son again. The debt didn't vanish overnight, but something else did the silence. We talked more, laughed a little. Sometimes we argued still, but it wasn't cruel. It was real. Emily joined on weekends, bringing pastries again. This time, I ate one. The house began to feel alive the way it used to when Daniel was a boy. One evening, he looked at me and said, "Thank you for not giving up on me." I smiled. A mother never does. She just waits until her child remembers the way home. If you ever find yourself holding an envelope that breaks your heart, open it anyway. Because sometimes, inside the pain, there's a second chance waiting to be found. And love, real love, doesn't end with betrayal. It begins again, with forgiveness. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like the video. It helps more people find stories like this one. And if you believe in forgiveness, in family, in second chances, subscribe to the channel. There are more stories waiting, stories of love, loss, and healing. So stay with us, because sometimes the next story is the one your heart's been waiting for.